Can you hear me? As promised earlier, when I commented in Bruce Rivera's status that I will go live to explain, because some people are saying why I'm very passionate when it comes to this Parojinog Osamis issue, and why nanggagalaiti ako sa mga comments ng mga taong katulad ni Drilon, Kiko, Pangilinan, CHR, Rappler. I could not sleep yesterday. I was so happy. I just had maybe an hour's sleep, but when I learned of the news that Aldong Parojinog died, I was very teary-eyed. I was so happy. It's not nice to know that someone is dead. It's not nice to know. It's not nice to be happy because someone has died. But when an evil man dies, you're just happy, you know. And I posted several statuses yesterday, and in fact, I was able to predict that Drilon, CHR, and the Rappler would come to their defense. Exactly, hours before they actually did. But some people wonder why I'm more passionate and very happy that Parojinog died. Well, the truth of the matter is I feel very much invested in this issue because, first of all, yung war on drugs na yan, lingid sa kaalaman ng marami. Only some of my very close friends know this, but I almost died in 2001. I continue to be a very active leader, mentor, trainer of the Tingog Carolinian Party of the University of San Carlos. And in 2001, I was a freshman, incoming sophomore. And it was the 2001 elections, senatorial elections. Some of the members of my party, not the party, but some members of my party decided to campaign for a candidate by the name of Kiko Pangilinan. And I never liked the guy. I mean, call me superficial, but he's just so ugly. And like I said earlier, kung kasing laki lang ng utak niya at puso niya ang mabutas ng kanyang ilong, then wala sana tayong problema with Kiko. But the guy is all ambition and no heart. I never liked the guy. I liked at the time Winnie Monsod. I still respect Tita Winnie despite our political differences. But I campaigned for Winnie Monsod wholeheartedly. I helped with my friend. We created comics in Cebuano language. And bata pa ako, gusto ko na talaga ang career ko as a political communicator, and that was why I took up advertising in college. So nag-aral ako na advertising, and I really wanted to focus on a career in political communication. So I decided, okay, at least 21 elections. I was 17 years old. I could not vote, no, because I was not yet registered. I was too young to vote. At least I was campaigning for a candidate I believe in, and that is Winnie Monsod, somebody who has a good track record as NEDA secretary, economic secretary, and meron kaming output, yung comics in Cebuano language given to the different wet markets around Cebu City. And yun naman kay Kiko, inisip ko na lang, okay, when you are a political communicator, like public relations, hindi lahat ng kliyente mo gusto mo. Basta lang hindi naman masama, basta naman hindi naman evil, no? And Kiko was, at the time, I didn't think he was evil. I think he was just nondescript, no, and lazy and ambitious, but not evil. And my friends were campaigning for him. I said, okay, as a training for a career in political communications, at least I can also try to campaign for someone at the age of 17 who I don't naman completely believe in. Anyway, you know what happened? The Saturday, Sunday before election day, that was the eve of Mother's Day of the elections of May 2001. I was not feeling well. I remember my friends from Tingog, there was a meeting in Waterfront. Naubos yung pera ko doon. Siyempre, wala pa akong sariling pera, baon lang yun. And then after that, we ate at AA Barbecue. And I was telling my friend Corinne, I said, I'm not feeling well. So, did you take your medicine? Yeah. No, not yet, but I will buy when we go home. But I'm not saying that masama yung pakiramdam ko, masama yung kutob ko. So, we were dropped off in Fuente Osmeña, Bray, Abrea, and I, by Chai Suarez. And we parted ways there. And I only had like 100 pesos left. And I bought biogesic, parang dalawang biogesic and mineral water before even attempting to withdraw money. Anyway, I withdrew money. It was offline in BPI Mango Avenue. So I walked to Cebu Doctors. The long and short of it is I was mugged by a drug addict. Giusaan kong kutsilyo, and he was threatening me na idasok ko na niya. So when you're 17, not feeling well, and you're mugged by obviously somebody high, stupid, no? I fought for my life. Anyway, I succeeded in fighting for my life. I kicked him on the crotch, but not without him trying to, grab me. He grabbed me from behind, and then he was about to stab me because he was holding his knife. And I shouted the name of Saint Michael because I'm named after him. And the next thing I know, I was bloodied on the floor, and he left me for dead. Anyway, I campaigned for this guy, Kiko Pangilinan, and it was after a meeting for a Kiko campaign. And the only thing, I had there was a Kiko Pangilinan t-shirt, a white t-shirt with a blue Kilos Ko print here. And I used that to cover my face that was practically disfigured because that guy hit me so hard and I had braces. So they told him, no? And he had no care in the world. Wala siyang pakialam na yung isang youth volunteer niya ay malapit mamatay after a meeting for his campaign. In fact, if you think about it, and this is something moving forward, dapat nire-require ng COMELEC sa mga kampanya, if you have youth volunteers who are underage, who are 17 years old, there should be a waiver. So I was underage, I campaigned, that was my decision. But this guy, Kiko Pangilinan, didn't care that someone in his campaign, a youth volunteer, almost died. Kaya pag nandyan yan, pag nakikita ko punyeta, ako I forgive, no? I forgive the person. But if you're a public official, how can I forgive you? How can I forgive somebody, or how can I just look past somebody who was responsible in a way, indirectly, for almost killing me? Hindi naman niya he did not put me in harm's way. No, it was my decision. And it was that drug addict, no? And I was lucky and blessed to have survived that, unlike other people who are not as lucky. But this is somebody who didn't really give a shit about who was volunteering for him. So, pag sinabi kong yung mukha ni Kiko Pangilinan, pangit, kung yung utak niya at puso niya, kasi laki ng eye bags niya sana at butas ng ilong niya, wala tayong problema. But this guy is just, he used Sharon Cuneta, and everybody knows that. He continues to use her. Kaya, kawawa si Sharon, hindi na pumapayat, siguro nadidepress. Anyway, yes, I cannot believe I campaigned for Kiko also, lads. But we make mistakes. But we charge it to experience, and we hopefully become better people. Kaya hindi na ako maloloko ngayon. Like I said, I campaigned to be professional about things. To see if I can campaign, on a purely professional level, not because I believe in the guy. But look where it got me. It almost killed me. And the guy I campaigned for had no sympathy whatsoever. Anyway, going to Parojinog. Everybody, if you're from Cebu at hindi ka naman living under a rock, you should know, no? You would know that the Parojinogs are really the creme de la creme of the drug trade in the Visayas and Mindanao. In fact, the criminal organization is so extensive, it's so diverse. Kung business conglomerate pa yan, Ayala yan. Napaka-diverse ng kanilang criminal operations, from kidnap for ransom to corruption in government because of elected public officials, to the narco trade. So they're very diversified. And yun nga, kuratong baleleng. Alam naman ng mga tao yun, unless you really live under a rock, or you stand to benefit from them. That's why you support them, like all these Liberal Party politicians now who have come to their defense. So knowing that, I was so happy when my best friend's mother, my best friend Eric, his mother had the balls to decide to run against the Parojinogs in 2010. It was dangerous. We had a risk assessment. We met here in Cebu to discuss the risk of going against a criminal dynasty like the Parojinogs, so well entrenched in Osamis and Misamis Occidental politics and Mindanao politics. And we had a risk assessment, and we decided it was very high. In fact, it was a risk not worth taking. But Tita Connie, mukhang babaeng digong yun, si Connie Lim, she said, no, bahalag magpatay ta. Bahalag magpatay. Osamis deserves change. That's what she said. And that inspired me. And knowing how drugs, like I said, has permeated and affected and corrupted every facet of Filipino society, from the highest echelons of government to the family, the basic of society, the basic unit of society. You have sons murdering their mothers, their grandmothers, raping their own children, and you have narco politics practically controlling, the entire country. You have drug money, drug lord money, supporting the candidacy of corrupt politicians, and it becomes a vicious cycle of corruption because, syempre, yung tumatanggap ng pera from the drug lords, sila rin yung nakakaroon ng enough money to win in office. And when they're there, syempre, ito yung mga demonyong walang modo, they will also be corrupting from our coffers, from taxpayers' money. So again, it's a vicious cycle of just evil, So when Connie Lim decided to do that, I said, okay, I'm on board. I know it's dangerous, but what the heck? So for like a week or two, every month, for almost a year before the 2010 elections, I would go to Osamis and I saw everything firsthand. I saw how the Parojinogs intimidated people, and the vice mayor that we supported eventually was murdered in broad daylight. Si Vice Mayor Romero, and God rest his soul. And so this is really vindication for him. So I would go there and I would help, we would work with youth leaders, senior citizen volunteers, and women who really went out of their way, went out of their comfort zones, and exposed themselves to the monumental risk of being identified as not for the Parojinogs. But they were not afraid. So when you see these people and they were not afraid, how can you be afraid? I was almost murdered by a drug addict. Ano pagkakatakutan ko? So it was so inspiring. The movement for change was so inspiring in the lead up to the 2010 elections, and you could feel it. You have old women cooking, malalaking mga kaldero dyan, cooking that was how they volunteered, cooking for other volunteers, mga munggo, and utan Bisaya, galunggong, nagkakamay, pati sila Tita Connie, sila Eric, eating from the same plastic plates. And everybody believed that it was going to happen. And you know what? Surveys said, practically all surveys said that she was going to win by more than 80% of the vote. But the Parojinogs, powerful as they are with the guns, goons, and gold, of course, employed every trick in the book to intimidate people. Gitiunan ang mga teachers o mga poll watchers during election day, with their guns, and cheated their way so that they can just preserve their clout and power. I saw that. May mga time na manghapa mi sa sahog. We dive because we hear gunshots. And mind you, this is in Mindanao at the time when the Maguindanao massacre happened. And you know how scary it was because the lawyer who I asked, who I introduced to Tita Connie and family, an election lawyer who was supposed to help us with strategy, magaling na lawyer naman, advised us when we met in Manila, because kakatakot yung kalaban. Paano kung i-ambush kami pag file ng certificate of candidacy? So ang advice niya, let's have the media there, the youth there, the women, kahit hindi media, pasautin na lang ng chaleco, punta tayo doon, let's have a caravan para matakot sila. You know what? Good thing, we were able to protect everyone. But the same lawyer gave the same advice to you know who? The Mangunda Datus. And that was what happened. The Ampatuan massacre happened in around, I think, November, because the filing of the COC of Mangunda Datu was delayed. So can you imagine? It could have easily happened to us. It was the same advice from the same lawyer who was the lawyer Mangunda Datu in that Ampatuan massacre. So the Ampatuan massacre happened at the time when I was going to Osamis. And may mga putok-putok dyan, and I would dive to the floor. We would dive to the floor. One time, my ex wanted to wanted to see what was going on there. He went there, and he was not yet in my best friend's house. He was in a pension house in the downtown area of Osamis, and my best friend wouldn't let me out because it was so dangerous. And yung funds nila for poll watchers and to buy food for the poll watchers, gidakop, no? Kinonfiscate ng mga Parojinog with their goons. So it was electrically charged. But I could not just leave my ex there in the downtown area. And what if they know that the room reservation is identified, no? It was under Connie Lim, under candidate Connie Lim. Baka anuhin pa siya doon. So my best friend wouldn't allow. Tumakas pa ako. I found a tricycle to bring me to downtown so that I can bring my ex to say hi to them. To bring my, what I know was to bring my ex to safety. Sabi niya hindi ko siya mahal. Tapos na yun. But so yeah, those were the days, no? And so suffice it to say, Connie Lim did not make it. She was cheated out of the victory that she deserved, that she worked hard for, that the people wanted for her, because people wanted change in Osamis. Wala kaming magawa. Ano magagawa mo? But thankfully, the vice mayor won, because yung congressman at mayor lang ang Parojinog ang tumatakbo. So they secured the congressman and the mayor. Ang kalaban ni Connie is Nova Princess Parojinog. That spawn of Satan, demonyo na. If I was there in Osamis, I would have volunteered to pull the trigger, and I would have killed Aldong Parojinog, and I would have included Nova Princess Parojinog, because she is the spawn of Satan. Yan ang nagpapautos sa mga patay-patay dyan. Kaya yan, I hope that she commits suicide behind bars. Suicide. Kasi tangin ng demonya yan. So, anyway, hindi nila na-concentrate yung vice mayor. So the vice mayor, our vice mayor, si Romero, won. He's a nice, soft-spoken, chubby guy. But you know what? In 2016, I think November, it hasn't been a year, he was gunned down in broad daylight. So you're telling me that the Parojinogs are what? They are staunch anti-drug advocates, according to freaking Rappler. Putang ina ka, Maria Reza, gaga ka, tarantada ka, shit ka, pininaw ng kurikong. Kaya yung kapangitan mo lumalabas, it shines forth, because how dare you hold hostage a truth? How dare you overtake a truth? Everybody knows that the Parojinogs are evil. And then you water down things just to make Duterte look bad? Gaga ka. Mamatay ka na rin. Shit ka. We put our lives on the line. Our lives at stake in 2010 to fight for change. A change that never came because we trusted in the democratic process. And what did they do? They spat on that. They spat on that. They subverted the will of the people. The thirst for change was just stolen away. It was just sinukahan yung thirst for change na yun. And then now that we have this, now that there's victory, finally there's victory after 6 years or more for the Ozamisnons, you would change the narrative and dictate on the narrative. Leche ka. Sinusumpa kita, Maria Reza. You will suffer, a horrible, painful death. Shit. I knew it. I had a very bad feeling that Rappler was going to twist things, but I didn't know that you would go so low, to be so brazen, to lie through your teeth like that, right? To lie through your teeth like the drug menace in the Philippines is not a serious problem. Pareho kay Ninoy, lying through his yellow teeth. Now you have a president who actually means what he says. May mga mamamatay na tokhan-tokhan dyan. People, mga drug addicts, some of them, kung hindi pa lang ako nang laban nun, if I didn't kick that guy on the crotch, what would happen to me? If he stabbed me, if there was no miracle attributable to Saint Michael, if I was not so blessed, so lucky, then I would be dead. I would be a statistic. Is it my fault? And then that guy deserves human rights? CHR. Asan kayo nung yung taga Shakey's, SM Shakey's, kaibigan pa nung friend kong si Gavin, when that hero who came to the help, to the aid of that girl when her was being snatched, her jewelry was being snatched. San kayo? Human rights? Pero ngayon, yung talagang kriminal, without a doubt, kriminal. Aba, gusto niyo pa imbestigahan. Search warrant, arrest warrant, iba naman po yun. Gagamitin niyo pa yung pagkabobo niyo, and gagaguhin yung mga tao. Magpatay ta mga lecheha mo. Because I was there in 2010 and I saw, how desperate people were for change. And then now, what does Rappler do? What do you do, Maria Ressa? What do your people do? You quote one guy, a relative, who is anonymous, kung buhay ba yan? Baka yan yung bot, baka yan yung troll, kung bayaran nyo. Because he fits the narrative.